Cordia, but while I'm falter war a Hurro Blair shot you, Higan Darna Camora, the quid Hamish question. Is still assumed as of a Seamus question, a star on Socialist public tonic. Var a hokangal ideology and Socialist August and public tonicus. In a ashling, the air is sear on imperudicus, August sear on Gus Bollock Acnamia. A Olingian looked ever in the hair. Humnik o Questula a heel, the looked ever in the chair shop. Mar furniture, mar hydure, August mar rain logi. In last shot, troubles the shape lane o hen. Lavu Seamus o Questula, Senat shot. Kyletonus old word and strapant, son Searsha Nashunta August Raid logi na needy, Queen Eater Hamus o Questula folks in you. Mar Eshalor Bor doing it. Attack both extravagant or Wahala Fear, and Sear. Cordia, on behalf of the Seamus Costello Memorial Committee, I would like to welcome you all here today to our second Seamus Costello commemoration at Reed Lane. Seamus Costello is a significant person in the history of socialist republicanism, a man who combined the ideologies of socialism and republicanism in his vision of an Ireland free of imperialism and free of economic oppression, which the Irish working class continue to suffer. Costello dedicated his life to the working class of his country, as a politician, as a soldier and as a revolutionary. On this day 36 years ago, Seamus Costello was shot dead in this area, a massive loss to the struggle for national and economic liberation. A revolutionary of the people, Seamus Costello is still remembered as a great example for us who are still struggling to see the vision of a liberated Ireland realised. I do spar go on Eru Michael, Flask of her son in question. So I'd like to ask Michael for to lay a read on behalf of the committee. And I'd now like to call for a minute's silence. Seamus Costello. So I'd now like to call on the friend and comrade of Seamus Costello, Sean Doyle, to say a few words.
That dreadful day, the only perception for most people was a severe blow. A severe blow for the future of socialist republicanism in Ireland. The only beneficiaries were the capitalist imperialists of this country. Similar to the Dublin Chamber of Commerce insisted that Connolly was executed, and had a similar effect on us. Seamus, like Connolly, believed in confronting the enemy, not just the foreign but native. Native capitalism in this country has played a secret, quiet role in the background and has suppressed most of the working class struggle in this country. You're well aware of the wrap the green flag round me, the Home Rulers in 1913, where the people of this country, of this city, the real people, were classified as something less than human, almost in the media at the time, controlled by Murphy, being portrayed as almost like vermin. Costello and Connolly and people who went before him, Lawler, Cohn, they were the people who gave heart and meaning to people who were in struggle, that had been suppressed for so long and and started to believe themselves they were less than normal. Costello engendered that spirit that when people met him, he was always able to engage with them. And one of the main themes about it, and this is the crucial part, unlike the establishment electoral system, Connolly believed in self-reliance and not independence. Most of them brought people to believe that they needed them and they hadn't a voice of their own. Back in 1970s, when we were involved in the H-Block campaign, Seamus Costello brought us about to realise we relied on ourselves and ourselves alone. I can remember quite well when we planned Sunday mornings outside churches. We didn't bring a speaker in from outside. Costello was the man who convinced us, even though we might be shaking, but that we had to speak for ourselves and for the people we represented. We used to go down the fields on a Saturday afternoon and rehearse our Sunday mornings outside churches. This, to us at the time, was so strange, because other people were always our voice. And if they didn't have our sentiments, then our sentiments were not spoken of. That's what we still need today. We need people to come forward, to speak, and not be afraid to speak. But above all, have the guts to identify native collaboration, what native collaboration has caused to the misery of people in Northern Ireland, how much the people have been crucified, and how could anybody possibly believe that you could talk about freedom in the 26 counties with people in bondage in 6. Connolly was right. The freedom of the working class must be the work of the working class. We need to stand up and fight our own fight. And Connolly was certainly a big part in that struggle. He would not allow people to wander and into the wilderness. He would group them together and find out what their problems were. Local issues. And like a lot of people who believed in the abstentionist policy, Connolly and Costello had the formula. The formula was you identified with people on what their problems were on a given day. You inspired people to come together, to make them realise their strength was in numbers. Costello said, we are nothing and we shall be everything. People do not realise unity of the left is the key, because on our own we are lost. The opposition are well organised. The powers that be, like this year, over the last few years, with the banking crisis, how could they possibly consider transferring that capital onto the ordinary people's shoulders? They do it because they can. They can because we are divided. And a lot of people, their conscience is decided by how many people cry out. The problem is, most of the crying out is done by people walking floors at 4 o'clock in the morning. People destitute in their homes, wondering how they're going to support their families. Connolly made a reference to this dilemma when he said the powers that be fear the awakening of the slave. That is how we portray ourselves. We need to come together. We know what's wrong. We know who is causing it. And we need to oppose them. But not just the foreign, not just the European empire, but native capitalism and its role in it. Thank you very much.
Míle maith blián as an árán sprágan sin. Ar sunna cuiste chuoine gan bhálam, buíochas a gháilibh as the bheith seola inniu. On behalf of the Commemoration Committee, I'd like to thank you all for being here today. We are hoping to build on this event for next year. and I'd just like to thank Sean for a very inspiring speech. We're really maha. So hopefully we'll see you back here next year. We're maha.